Hello, everyone, and welcome to the iBUG Cafe. I'm your host, Sree. This is episode 119, and today is April 13th, 2025. Here at the cafe, we typically take an in-depth look at an iOS, and we have a very popular and a very useful one today. And that is not only coming from me, but according to 800,000 other users. But before we get started, I want to personally say thank you to each of you for attending this cafe in person, and for all those who will be listening to this cafe either on our website, our podcast, or in our YouTube channel. And if you find any of our videos helpful, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe so that our very own Julie uploads any of our videos, you'll get notified. So when using Be My Eyes, we typically take a picture, and it's often said, a picture speaks 1,000 words. So Sandhya, can you tell us what is going on here at iBUG today in 1,000 words?
All right, thank you, Sree. Yes, hopefully in less than 1,000 words, we'll tell you about our very full week that we have ahead of us. Something every day for everyone, I guarantee. Monday night, iBUG Buzz. All times are central. All events are on the same Zoom conference line that we are on right now. Makes it nice and easy. So, Monday night, 7 to 9, iBUG Buzz. Come with all your questions about your iPhone, related applications, and gestures. After the meeting from 9 to 11, the After Buzz, where we can hang out and just get to know one another. It's a social event. Then we have the Mac Buzz on Tuesday from 5 to 6. All questions about your Mac and whether you should get one or not, and the similar forum, any questions about gestures and applications. Then on Wednesday from 7 to 8:30, we have the Android Insight. All questions about the A lady. I won't say her name because we know what will happen. That platform runs on so many different devices like thermostats and microwaves and all kinds of things, so you can come and ask your questions there. We have some very knowledgeable people on that group, so come and check that out on Wednesday. Then Thursday we have the Trekkie Talk discussion. We're currently watching season 1 of Voyager, and that is from 7 to 8:30. Come for that. Then again on Friday we have the iBUG Night at the Virtual Movies starting at 8 p.m. is a movie, the audio described tracked only. We'll have social time at 7:15. We'll do a little name that tune, bad jokes and some fun and frivolity and argle bargle. Then after the movie, we'll have a discussion and trivia. If you, for some reason, weren't paying attention to every single word I just said, you can go and visit our website at ibugtoday.org, ibugtoday.org. There, you can sign up to get our mailing list, get on our mailing list, and get all of these notifications on a nice regular basis. You will not be getting the events for the weekly events, but everything else you can get a notice of that, so you won't miss any of our wonderful training and social events. Also, right now we're doing our iBUG annual fundraiser, and there you have a chance to win a $500 gift card to your favorite, whether it's an Apple gift card or Google or Amazon, and that is with a $10 donation. And the drawing will be on May 24th at our 14th anniversary celebration. You need not be present to win. All the details are on our website, and that is, again, ibugtoday.org. Thank you very much, and handing it back to Sree.
All right, thank you, Sandhya. So do you think you hit it under 1,000 words there, Sandhya?
I don't know. Can't
right,
say
well.
my name in less than 1,000 words.
All right, yeah. Definitely check out our website. We have a lot of things going on this week. So now it's time for everyone to introduce yourself. Once again, I have an icebreaker question. It's very simple. Do you use the Be My Eyes app? Tell us your name, where you're calling from, and if this is your first time here at the cafe, please let me know so I can recognize you. So, Julie, if you can go ahead and unmute everyone.
Misty from New Jersey, and yes, I use Be My Eyes.
Welcome.
Joe from Ontario, Canada, and yes, I use Be My Eyes as well.
Welcome.
Angelo in Ottawa, not yet.
Hey, welcome, Angelo.
Mike Coughlin from Connecticut. I use the Be My Eyes app, and I also use it with my Meta smart glasses.
Excellent. Welcome.
France, Virginia, and yes, I use the app on my iPhone.
Hey, welcome.
Marie Kahn from Houston, Texas, and no, I don't know anything.
Okay, well, welcome. Hopefully today you'll get a good understanding of what the app can do. Welcome.
Robert in Arizona. I do use the app.
All right, welcome, Robert.
Paul in Columbus, yes.
Welcome, Paul.
Robert Carter from Texas, College Station, Texas. Robert Carter, and I do use the Be My Eyes app, and I believe this is my first time to be in the cafe.
And how'd you hear about us, Robert?
Well, I started attending some of the iOS and Mac events and became interested in following up and learning more. And so that's why I'm here. I really have enjoyed what I've learned about this group so far.
Excellent. Welcome. All right, Jake.
Yeah, I do use the Be My Eyes app. I'm from Michigan.
Hi, welcome, Jake.
Thank you.
In Cincinnati, yes, I do use it.
Hi, welcome, Dana.
David from Arkansas, yes.
All right, welcome, David.
This is Dee in Southern Illinois, and I think I've been using Be My Eyes since the inception.
All right, welcome, Dee.
I'm Linda. I'm from Massachusetts.
And welcome, Linda. And do you use Be My Eyes app?
Yes.
All right, well, welcome.
This is Helene.
Welcome, Helene.
From Woodstock, New York, and I love Be My Eyes.
All right, welcome.
Louise, Georgia. Yes, I use it.
Welcome.
Dan from Southern California, yes.
Hi, welcome, Dan.
This is Ed in Georgetown, Ontario, and I use it a little bit, and I'm trying to figure out how to use it with my glasses. So
I'll stick around and we'll show you. Welcome.
Okay.
Sharon from New York, and yes, I use it.
Welcome, Sharon.
Darren from Louisiana, yes, I use it.
Welcome.
Valerie from Southern California, and I use it a little bit.
Hi, welcome, Valerie.
Cindy from Chicago, yes, I use it.
Welcome.
Jody from New Hampshire, yes, I use it. Hi, Sree.
Welcome, Jody.
Mary from Pennsylvania, and I use Be My Eyes, and I'm first time for the cafe.
And how'd you hear about it?
Through a friend of mine, and then also went on a couple of the iBUG buzz, and the movies.
Okay, yeah, welcome.
Julie in Texas, and yes, I have used it. It's been a couple of years, and I have been here.
Okay, welcome.
Mary Alice from Pennsylvania, and I use it. I've been through the iBUG Today stuff and everything, but this is my first time at the cafe.
All right, well, welcome. Glad you're here.
I do not.
Okay, Julie.
Cindy from Alaska.
And have you used Be My Eyes before?
No.
Okay, who's next?
Elizabeth from Newfoundland, Canada, and I do use the Be My Eyes app.
Okay, great. Welcome.
Thanks.
Valencia from Maryland, and this is my first time to iBUG Buzz, and I hope to be using Be My Eyes soon.
Okay, and how'd you hear about us?
Initially an NFB convention, and then through email listservs, basically.
Okay, great. Welcome.
This is Margie DeMars from Danville, Virginia. I was one of the first ones to try Be My Eyes with the glasses and the phone, and it wasn't successful. I didn't end up subscribing. I do have the app on my phone, but I don't use it.
Well, hopefully today get some better understanding of it, Marge.
Hi, it's Vanessa from Georgia, and yes, I do. I use it, the app.
Mary Linda, Georgia, and no, I don't. At this time, I'm wanting to learn more.
All right, well, welcome.
Kathy from Tulsa, and I do use Be My Eyes.
All right, welcome.
Madeline from Texas, and I do use Be My Eyes.
Okay. Madeline, have you been to the cafe before?
I sure have.
Okay, great.
This is Innie from Iowa, and hi, Sree and Julie. And I have used the Be My Eyes before, lot. I really like it, and I even have a couple of my sisters signed up to be volunteers.
Excellent.
I'm always hoping to get them, but I haven't gotten them yet. And I'm really looking forward to learn to do on Be My Eyes.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll show you a way where your family member can answer the call. So stick around.
Arlene, North Carolina, yes.
All right, welcome, Arlene.
This is Deb from Kansas. Yes, I do use it.
Welcome, Deb.
Thank you, Sree.
This is Pete from Jacksonville, Florida, and I use it.
All right, welcome, Pete.
Beth from Washington.
Yeah, Beth. And how about you? Do you use Be My Eyes?
Not yet, but I'm here because of you.
Yes, welcome.
Thank you.
All right, who's next?
It's Shazadi from Welland, Canada. I use the Be My Eyes app, and I love it.
Welcome. How about Michael and Sandhya? How about you guys? Do you guys use it?
This is Sandhya from Houston. Yes, I use it.
All right. Okay. How about Michael?
Michael in Houston. Yes, I love it. Use it every day to put on my makeup.
Anyone else going once? Going twice?
It ain't working.
This is Anita. Anita from Temple City, California. I use it daily.
And have you been here before at the cafe?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so, yes.
All right. Anyone else? Going once? Twice? Hi, this is Sree Roy. I'm in Virginia, and like Michael, I use Be My Eyes every day. I don't really use it to look at my makeup, but I definitely use it every day. So we broke our presentation into 3 parts today. The first part is about 25 minutes. The second part is about 27 minutes. And the third part is about 16 minutes long. After each of our parts, we'll open it up for some questions and comments on the part that we covered. Before we get started, I need to introduce my co-presenter from the Sunshine State, Pete Lane. Pete, would you like to say anything before we get started about today's presentation?
Well, good afternoon, Sree. Yeah, a quick word if I might. It's great to be here, by the way. I just want to encourage everyone, first of all, remind you that we are recording this session as we do all of our training sessions. And I'd like to encourage you to use those recordings, particularly when we do app reviews and technical reviews. That way you can play the recording, pause it, rewind it, that kind of thing. And it's an excellent way to re-listen to what we're doing here live. And that way you can learn to use the app at your own pace. So with that, everything else is good. Thank you, Sree.
All right, Pete, thank you. That's a very good point. Yes, we do record all our presentations here. So with that said, Julie, I'll go ahead and ask if you can make sure everyone else is muted, and we'll go ahead and start with the first part of our presentation.
Okay, go ahead.
Namaste. This is Sree, and welcome to the iBUG Cafe. 4 simple words. See the world together. The mission behind the company that was founded in 2015, Be My Eyes. And this company has been growing since they started 10 years ago. Let's take a look at some of the numbers. In 2023, there were over 300,000 blind or low vision users, along with 5 million sighted volunteers. And in 2025, there are over 800,000 blind or low vision users, along with 8.5 million sighted volunteers. Be My Eyes is available in over 150 different countries and has sighted volunteers who speak 180 different languages. Last year, they took over Apple Viz and partnered up with Hilton and Roma Fiumicino Airport and the Emirates Airport. And Be My Eyes' future looks very promising. And one other thing that is very promising is today's presentation. And that's because I'm so thrilled to have my co-presenter, Pete Lane, as he and I will go over the Be My Eyes app. And we'll cover topics such as how to install the app, the home screen layout, review all the tabs, and give you some examples on how to use Be My Eyes. So with that said, I'm going to hand the mic over to Pete, and he's going to give us an in-depth overview of the Be My Eyes.
Thanks, Sree. It's always a pleasure working with you, and certainly an honor to be on the cafe again. Good afternoon, folks. As Sree said, we'll be doing an in-depth review of the Be My Eyes app. Be My Eyes. 3 words, spelled B-E space M-Y space E-Y-E-S. Let's start off our demonstration by going to the App Store and downloading the app.
App Store.
Let me invoke our Shortcuts menu with a 1-finger triple tap.
App Store. Small widget, medium-sized widget, large widget, search, button.
Our Shortcuts menu, previously known as our Context menu, offers me a couple of choices of widgets and then takes me to a search button. Single-finger double tap.
Search field is editing, games, apps, and more. Character mode, insertion point at start.
Takes me straight to a text field. As you heard, the text field is already populated with words, games, apps, and more, to be specific. Don't let this confuse you. It is, in fact, an open text field. I'll perform a 2-finger double tap, the magic tap, to begin dictation. Be My Eyes.
Inserted Be My Eyes.
Double tap on the search button.
Search, Be My Eyes, search field, Be My Eyes, see the world together, 4 3/4 stars, 11K ratings, editor's choice, category lifestyle, developer, Be My Eyes, version 6.3.3, people who are blind or have low vision now have 3 powerful tools in one with Be My Eyes.
The App Store offers a lot more details regarding the app's capabilities, the developer, and things like that, which I will bypass at this point and will go right to
Be My Eyes, see the world together. Open button.
I'm still in the App Store. The Open button appears because I have already downloaded and installed the app. If you have not yet done so, you will hear a Get button. Perform a one-finger double tap on that button.
Open.
So there we go. We've completed the download and installation of the Be My Eyes app from the App Store. Now it's time to familiarize ourselves with the Be My Eyes app itself. I'm now on the main home screen of the Be My Eyes app. Let's explore. The first section we'll look at is the bottom row. We have 5 tabs, beginning with
Get Support, tab 1 of 5, Be My AI, tab 2 of 5, Service Directory, tab 3 of 5, Community, tab 4 of 5, Settings, tab 5 of 5.
Let's take a look at our Settings tab. One finger double tap.
Selected, Settings, tab 5 of 5.
Starting at the top of the new screen.
Settings, heading.
Let's flick to the right quickly just to show you what's on the screen.
Account, button. Languages, button. Notifications, button. Shortcuts, button. Be My AI, button. Ray-Ban Meta Glasses, button. Support, button. Privacy and Terms, button. Log Out, button.
That's the last button on the screen. Let's go back up to the top and dig into our account settings.
Settings, heading. Account, button.
One finger double tap.
Personal Details, button.
This is pretty straightforward.
Personal Details, button. Change Email, button.
We can change the email with which we originally registered if we wish to do so. Flicking to the right.
Password, button.
We can edit or change our password here.
Delete User, button.
And we can delete our account if we need to. And that's it for our initial account screen. Let's go back to the top.
Settings, back button. Account, heading. Personal Details, button.
Some more personal details. One finger double tap.
Pete, first name. Pete, text field, last name. Lane, text field. Email. You have initially registered with Google. If you would like to use email and password to sign in instead of your Google account, you will need to log out from Be My Eyes and choose Forgot Password where you can enter your email address.
I don't want to change any of that.
Log out, button. Account, back button. Password, button.
Here is where we can change our login from an email to my Google login or vice versa. I don't want to do any of that now. I'm good as I am.
Delete User.
And I don't want to delete my account. Let's go back up and check out our Languages area.
Settings, back button. Languages, button.
One finger double tap.
Primary language, English, button. Secondary languages, button. Search field. Suggested languages, heading. Espanol, Spanish. All languages, heading. Abkhazian, Abkhazian. Afar, Afrikaans, Okan, Shkip, Albanian.
That's just the first few, but it's a very long list. Let's move on and check out our notifications.
Settings, Notifications, heading. Allow notifications. Allow notifications in order to stay up to date with the Be My Eyes community, button.
One finger double tap.
Allow alert. Be My Eyes would like to send you notifications. Notifications may include alerts, sounds, and icon badges. These can be configured in settings. Don't allow, button. Allow, button.
This is a choice to enable notifications in general. In a moment, we'll be given a couple of individual notification choices, which we will have to decide separately.
Marketing announcements, switch button, on. Once in a while, we'd like to email or notify you with updates about new Be My Eyes features or other information we think will be valuable to you.
There's our first individual choice, marketing announcements.
Community stories, switch button, on.
We're going to dive a little deeper into stories from the community in a few minutes.
Notify me when a new story gets published.
I'm going to switch my choice here to no.
Community stories, switch button, on. Off.
That's it for notifications. Let's go back up to the top and check out our shortcuts.
Settings, back button. Shortcuts, button. Shortcuts. You can trigger shortcuts with Siri using the phrases below or create your own in the Shortcuts app.
Here are a few phrases that we can use with Siri to trigger the Be My Eyes actions.
With Siri, you can say, call a volunteer with Be My Eyes.
There's also a list of individual requests.
Ask Be My Eyes. Read with Be My Eyes. Describe with Be My Eyes. Describe quickly with Be My Eyes. Describe fully with Be My Eyes.
Describe with Be My Eyes. Describe quickly and describe fully with Be My Eyes.
Open Shortcuts app button.
I'm not going to dive into the Shortcuts app. We'll save that for another presentation. All right, let's move back up to the top of this settings screen and see what's next in line.
Settings, back button. Be My AI button.
Be My AI. There's only one setting that we need to contend with to use the Be My AI feature. By the way, Sree will be demonstrating the Be My AI feature in detail a little bit later in this presentation.
Use volume buttons to take pictures.
This is a toggle between on,
Switch button, on,
and
off.
Off. If you toggle this to the off position, then you'll have to take your picture by double tapping on the screen. Let's move back up and see what's next on our list of settings.
Settings, back button. Ray-Ban Meta Glasses button.
You may have heard that Be My Eyes formed a partnership with the Ray-Ban Meta Glasses folks, so you can now use your glasses in connection with Be My Eyes. There's a couple of ways that you can approach this. Let's take a look.
Connect in Meta View button. Connect Meta View devices close button.
By tapping Connect in Meta View, we are taken to the Meta View app. So let's just take a quick look and see what's in here.
Be My Eyes heading. Wayfarer 00GK.
There's the model number for my glasses.
Connect Meta View to Be My Eyes.
This is not a button. Let's just continue.
Call a volunteer. Those who are blind or low vision can connect to a network of Be My Eyes sighted volunteers to help complete their everyday tasks.
That is still not a button, so let's keep flicking to the right.
We value your privacy. You will give the Be My Eyes app access to your glasses camera and microphone. Your device's connection to Be My Eyes, use of Meta AI, and feature performance data will be shared with Meta to provide the service.
This is just an information screen that they want us to review before we grant any permissions here on the MetaView app.
Change your preferences. You can change your preferences at any time in the accessibility settings. Learn more about how Meta uses information in the supplemental privacy policy. Link Connect Be My Eyes dimmed button.
There is the connect button. Mine is dimmed because I've already connected. Yours will be undimmed, so you can double tap on that button and you'll connect the glasses to the Be My Eyes app.
Learn more about how Meta uses information in the supplemental privacy policy. Link attachment.png file. Close button.
Here's a close button that will get us out of the MetaView app and we'll go back to Be My Eyes.
Return to Be My Eyes button. Settings, back button.
And we're back in Be My Eyes. Now we're still on our Be My Eyes settings screen, so let's keep flicking to the right.
How to use your glasses button.
This looks interesting. One finger double tap.
Start the call with your voice heading. Put on the glasses and say, "Hey Meta, Be My Eyes," to call a volunteer without touching your phone.
Well, there's a simple method. Just ask Meta.
Start the call from the app heading.
This is still not a button, so we're not actually taking these actions. This is just information. I want to again point out that Sree will be demonstrating all of this a little bit later in our presentation. Also, Maria Christic demonstrated this process during the January Cafe, in which she covered the Ray-Ban Meta Smart Glasses. You can check that out on the iBUG Today YouTube channel or on ibugtoday.org under podcast.
Put on your glasses and start a call by pressing the Call a Volunteer button in the app, then double tap the Capture button on the top of the right arm of the glasses.
Now I faded that out because that's information that Sree will cover later in this presentation. I'm going to go back to my settings screen.
Settings, back button, support button.
Single finger double tap.
Help Center button, email support button.
Let's do a one finger double tap.
Cancel button, feedback on Be My Eyes heading.
We're now in a section where we can contact and provide feedback to the Be My Eyes staff.
Send button. To ios@bemyayes.com button.
It drops us into an email with the subject already filled in and the body open for us to populate. They clearly are welcoming feedback on their product.
Message body, new line, text field, cancel button. Send button.
Let's go ahead and cancel.
Cancel alert, delete draft button. Settings, back button, support, help center button.
Now we have a help center. Let's check it out. One finger double tap.
Text field is edited address, support.bemyayes.com. Be My Eyes Help Center homepage, link, image, advice and answers from the Be My Eyes team. Search, magnifying glass emoji. Search, landmark, categories, blind or low vision user information, resources and tutorials for blind and low vision users. Link.
We have two categories of information. First is for blind and low vision users. I'll double tap on the link. We won't go through too much of it. Single finger double tap.
Address, support.bemyayes.com, Be My Eyes Help Center, link, blind or low vision user, magnifying glass emoji, search, information, Resources and tutorials for blind and low vision users. Getting started. Heading level 2. Link. Getting started with Be My Eyes. Link. Unboxing your Ray-Ban Meta glasses.
Sree is going to go into depth with the Ray-Ban Meta smart glasses, so let's just take a quick look at getting started with Be My Eyes.
Getting started with Be My Eyes. Get address, 10%, support.bemyayes.com.
Let's flick to the right and explore.
Getting started with Be My Eyes. Welcome to Be My Eyes. Be My Eyes is a support community million strong, available globally day or night, and has volunteers answering calls in more than 185 languages. Whenever you need a pair of eyes, Be My Eyes is a simple, free tool that connects you with our global community of volunteers and company representatives who are ready at a moment's notice to lend you their eyesight for everyday tasks.
So I faded that out because we've heard most of that. Also bear in mind that this information is available for you to review whenever you wish to. It's all right here in the Be My Eyes app. Let's move on and see what else is new.
Sign up as a user to get free live video support from a sighted volunteer or image-to-text support from Be My AI with tasks like reading labels, matching clothes, troubleshooting technology, setting up home appliances, or any other simple task. If it is specific help you need with products or services from one of our company partners, then connect through to their customer support from our service directory for more specialized help.
And we'll call it quits right here, and we're back on our previous screen for the Help Center.
Sighted volunteer information, resources and tutorials for sighted volunteers, link.
And another information link for the sighted volunteers. We won't go into that one now.
Companies and organizations information, resources and tutorials for partner companies and organizations, link.
And another information page for getting into the partner organizations. We'll hold off on that for now. And our last link.
Be My Eyes updates. Stay up to date with important Be My Eyes announcements and notifications, link.
As you can see, Be My Eyes is very forthcoming with assistance and information relating to the Be My Eyes app and the Be My Eyes community. You can explore this at your leisure.
Heading level 1. Didn't find what you were looking for? Connect with our support team by email. Contact support, link. Be My Eyes, content information, landmark. Done, button.
Okay, let's back out of this screen and go back to our settings screen and see what's left on our list.
Settings, back button. Privacy and terms, button.
A lot more information on the privacy features of the Be My Eyes app.
Log out, button. Get support, tab, 1 of 5.
Let's take a quick walk through the first tab at the bottom of our screen. Get support.
Call a volunteer, button.
Sree will be demonstrating this later in the presentation.
My groups, button. My groups. Create private groups with your friends and family. Create a group, button.
I'd like to create a group. I'll do a single finger double tap.
In progress. Welcome to Be My Eyes groups. With Be My Eyes groups you can create and manage personalized groups to provide visual descriptions, main, landmark. The group members can be friends or family. It doesn't matter if they are blind, have low vision or sighted. When a blind or low vision user calls the group, any available sighted group member is able to answer the call and provide a visual description. To get started, let's set up your first group. Create a group. Group name. Give your group a short name that can be easily recognized by all group members.
I'm going to create a group with my 2 sons, both of whom are sighted, and I think I'll call it the Lane Boys.
Group name, text field.
I'll dictate the Lane Boys.
Inserted the Lane Boys. Create group button. Group name, text field, the Lane Boys. Create group button. Create group, dimmed, invite friends and family. Your group is now ready to use. Next, share your invite link with your friends and family to add members to your group. Blind and low vision users will be able to call the group for visual description, and sighted group members will be set up to answer the calls. You can further manage your group at any time within the app.
This is where I will populate the group by sending a notification to each of my sons.
Share invite link button. Join the Lane Boys on Be My Eyes.
And this is very much like a share sheet where I'm given options of how I'd like to share the invitation to this group.
Share.bemyayes.com. Airdrop button. Mail button. Messages button.
I'll send the invite via the Messages app.
Text field is editing. Character mode. Dan Lane and Pat Lane. Text message. Messages. Attach link. Invitation to join my group on Be My Eyes. Share.bemyayes.com. Send button.
And we'll let it rip. Now, once my sons have joined the group and the group is completed, I'll go back to the Get Support tab.
Tab bar. Selected. Get Support. Tab. 1 of 5. The Lane Boys. Open. Button. Manage groups.
I'll go right to the Manage Groups area and call my Lane Boys group. It's as simple as that. So we have completed our review of the Settings tab. tab number 5 of 5 on the bottom of the Be My Eyes app. We have also briefly touched on tab number 1, Get Support, to review the process of creating a group in Be My Eyes. Let's do a quick review of tab 4, entitled Community.
Community, tab 4 of 5.
Single finger double tap to open it.
Selected, Community.
And we want to get to the top of the screen. I'll use my 4-finger single tap.
Community, heading.
Let's just flick to the right so we can get an idea what's available.
Stories.
We have stories.
Blog.
A blog.
Podcasts, link.
Podcasts.
Stories, heading level 1.
Now we're taken to our stories heading. We'll just keep flicking to the right.
Explore all shorts.
Shorts.
Blog, Be My Eyes in North Thailand partner to launch AI and human assistance for blind and low vision customers. Blog, Be My Eyes enters new industry sector with major customer wins.
Links to these stories, blogs, and podcasts are all here right on the main page of our community tab. Here, for example.
Story, Meet Brandy. Story, The Night Roamer initiating new volunteer. All stories, link.
These stories are audio stories, so all you have to do is double tap and it will play for you. We also have podcasts.
Podcasts, heading level 1. When everybody's watching, 13 letters, image, Peter Kucherevy smiling to the camera. Do blind people use body language? The Be My Eyes podcast.
Before I delve into the podcasts heading, let's go to our stories heading and we'll sample 1 or 2 of those.
Stories, heading level 1. In progress. Community, back button.
It brought us to a new screen. Let's flick to the right.
Community stories, heading. Community story, Meet Brandy, the 500,000th sign up in the Be My Eyes app.
Let's listen to a short excerpt from Brandy's story. 1-finger double tap.
In progress. Brandy, North Carolina, blind. Play, button. Pause.
I am learning that I do have a disability. I am living on hard mode. Not everyone sees or doesn't see what I see or don't see.
On the 22nd of May, we celebrated an incredible milestone. More than 500,000 people who are blind or have low vision have signed up to Be My Eyes to receive real-time video assistance from over 6.7 million volunteers worldwide. To celebrate this milestone, we have met with a real special person. Meet Brandy, our 500,000 sign-up in the Be My Eyes app.
I was actually listening to some of the podcasts earlier today, and one of the episodes came up saying that she did not know she was blind. I share a very similar story with her. I believe her name is Caroline, because they sang the song Sweet Caroline a little bit in there. I have a very similar story to her. My parents found out that I have albinism shortly after birth. They refused to allow me to wear glasses. They never told me about the albinism. I just thought maybe everybody lived on hard mode and that I'm just fair-skinned and I just burn easy. So I did not know that I am blind until this past December, actually.
There's a little sample of Brandy's story. I am definitely interested in hearing about how it took Brandy so long to figure out that she's blind. That's just one of dozens of stories. Stories from blind users and sighted volunteers right here on the Be My Eyes app. Let's go check out a blog or 2.
Community, back button, blog, link, in progress. The wing of a plane flying over a sunrise. Image, Anaheim, California, the 13th of March, 2025. Be My Eyes, bemyayes.com, link. The company that connects businesses and governments with blind and low vision users and citizens, announced today at CSUN 2025 a number of new customer wins and expansion into a new industry sector. In October 2024, Be My Eyes and Hilton announced an industry-first partnership, link, that delivered AI-powered assistance from the Hilton reservations and customer care team, focused on delivering more accessible hotel stays for guests who are blind or have low vision. Following that successful partnership, Be My Eyes is now making further inroads into the travel and hospitality sector with a number of new customer announcements, which include a major international airport and one of the world's most recognizable airline brands.
There's an excerpt from one of the blogs. As you hear, they are not recorded videos as the stories are. Instead, they are coherent and fascinating written articles. There are many of them. Let's move on and listen to a podcast.
Community, back button. Podcasts, link. In progress. 13 letters podcast logo, image. Listen now, heading level 1. 13 letters, heading level 1. The Accessibility and Inclusive Design Podcast, brought to you by Be My Eyes. June 17th, 2021, when everybody's watching, image, Peter Kucherevy smiling to the camera. In progress, play episode, button. Pause episode, button.
Hello and welcome to 13 Letters, the accessibility podcast hosted by me, Will from Be My Eyes. and Cordelia McGee-Tubb from Salesforce. Our guest today works in accessible media, but sort of more on the entertainment industry side of things. Peter is joining us from Spectrum, which is one of the biggest and fastest growing cable, internet, and TV providers in the country. And they're thinking about innovating in things like audio description and foreign language support and other things like that.
This interview is amazing. I had a really big fangirl moment about an app.
Okay, a brief clip from an interview with Peter Cucciaria from Spectrum TV. Let's go check out a couple of those shorts, shall we?
Podcasts, back button. Explore all shorts, link, in progress. Shorts, heading. Jennifer Story, heading. 51 seconds.
Hi, my name is Dr. Jennifer Stewart, and I'm an optometrist and the Chief Vision Officer of OD Perspectives. I'm also a proud Be My Eyes volunteer. Be My Eyes is a free app connecting blind and low vision people with volunteers for visual assistance on everyday tasks. I've been fortunate to have helped 5 people with tasks such as reading a recipe, reading a glucose monitor, setting up closed captioning on a TV, and reading instructions. Just yesterday, I helped someone set up a battery charger. I get so excited when my phone rings and always look forward to helping someone. As an optometrist, I'm especially proud of my work with Be My Eyes. I also share the app with all of my low vision patients. I truly feel like I am making a difference to people around the world through this online community.
Shorts, back button. Joanne Story.
Hello, my name is Joanne Perlstein. I am a totally blind practicing psychologist in Philadelphia. The most unusual way that I've used Be My Eyes is when I was trying to train my puppy. And I really needed to know whether she had done her business on a pee pad or on my carpet or on my wooden floor. And I would call up people and I would scan the room and scan the floors, and it was very helpful.
This concludes my portion of the presentation. We reviewed the Settings tab, the Community tab, and a brief portion of the Get Help tab that relates to the creation of Be My Eyes groups. And with that, let's allow everyone to unmute and open up the floor for questions.
All right, that covers the first part of our presentation. The way it's going to work is we don't use the raise hand here. All you need to do is just state your name. We'll call upon you, then you can ask your question. I will kindly ask that everyone else stay muted till the conversation comes to an end. And if you did ask a question, please refrain from asking a secondary question and focus the question on what Pete covered about the app. All right, so Julie, if you can go ahead and unmute everyone, and we'll open up some questions.
Sharon?
Go ahead, Sharon.
I'm sorry, I must have missed why, but Pete, why did you create the group with your sons? What does that allow you to do? I must commit, I'm a little confused there.
Okay, hey Sharon. Yeah, the group concept, it allows you to create a group. This was my motivation, to create a group with 2 people who I know are sighted. So if I, rather than dial just for a random volunteer, of which we've got like 8 million, I think, I can now just tap on my group and I'll get one of my 2 sons who will be able to do the same thing that one of the volunteers would do. So I chose my 2 sons because I know them. I know they're very apt and articulate and can describe whatever I might want them to describe for me. A dedicated couple of volunteers in my case that I could call.
Okay, that's great. And if, let's say for some reason, neither of them were available, would it transfer you to the regular?
You know, I have not tried the group yet, Sharon, but I don't think it would automatically send me out to the general population. But it's a simple matter of just closing the contact from going to call a volunteer or to another group if I'd created another group, you know?
Got it. Great. Thank you.
Yeah. Sure. I'll be demonstrating how to use groups feature in the next part of the presentation. Good question. Who's next?
Arlene?
Go ahead, Arlene.
I downloaded Be My Eyes, I'd say maybe 5 or 6 years ago. And the things, Pete, that you were saying, I was playing around in my app and I don't remember podcasts and that groups and that. My question is, do I have an old Be My Eyes? Should I get a new Be My Eyes?
Arlene, it's simple to do. And you probably would want to get an updated, revised version of the app. And you can do that by going into the App Store app on your phone and tapping on the account button, which is second button from the top, and that will open up a new screen. And if you flick down, you'll find updates. And there's also an automatic setting, which you may already have, in which case your Be My Eyes app may already be updated. I don't know, when was the last time you used it?
Maybe a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
It is connected to my glasses, so
Okay.
I thought it was okay, but
Well, look down toward the bottom. Again, there's 5 tabs along the bottom row there. The fourth of which, second from the bottom right, is the community tab. That's the tab in which the podcasts and the stories and the shorts are located.
okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. All right, who's got the next question?
This is Innie.
Go ahead, Annie.
Pete, I also was wondering about the group. So I have a couple of my sisters had signed up for volunteers, sighted volunteers, but I have never done a group with them. So is it as simple? Because I thought, don't they need like a special equipment or whatever? Because when we do the volunteer, they are able to look out, and it doesn't require anything from them to have. No.
No, and it doesn't require anything special. In fact, both of my sons are Android users, so they don't even need to have an iPhone. But no, you go to that first tab, a call for support, I think was the name of it. And the very first item you encounter at the top of that screen is add groups, create a group. And then you just follow the prompts. You continue to flick to the right. You can name the group first, so you could name it Innie's Sisters. And then in order to connect them, to send an individual invitation to each of your sisters, you go into what's the equivalent, very similar to a share button that we see in so many of our apps. And one of the share items that I used was to share an invitation through the Messages app. So I tapped on that and I selected both of my sons who were in my contacts, and I tapped on them, and then I said invite, and it tapped and it sent a text message to each of their phones, and all they need to do is accept it. And then once your group is created like that, then it's there to use whenever you need it. Pretty simple.
Okay, so even they are already a volunteer, I need to go and do that so I can have them as my group. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Certainly.
And also just keep in mind, if you do sign up in a group, you're also signing up as a Be My Eyes volunteer.
Right.
Next question.
This is Mary Alice.
Go ahead.
I'm having trouble downloading it. I mean, I went to the App Store and found it and pushed, update and whatever. And when I was I tried to open it up to follow along with what Pete was saying, and it would not. It said my device said unable to open. So I don't know what to do.
This is Sree. I would say this is probably, you might want to bring it up in our Monday call. We can maybe walk you through it a little bit more than here.
All right, I'll do that.
But I can't think off the top of my head what might be preventing you from downloading it.
Yeah, okay, I'll do that.
Sure.
All right, thank you.
Good luck.
This is Dana.
Go ahead, Dana.
I was going to say, if you have never had the app before at all, you would probably have to select Get first before you update it.
Yeah, that's correct. I heard her say update. That's why I wasn't really sure if there's some other issue going on.
That kind of indicates, Mary Alice, that you've already downloaded the app and now you just want to update it in the App Store. But unable to open it, that I don't know.
This is Helene.
Go ahead, Helene.
If I ask my kids to do this and a call comes through, will it say it's coming from me, or because I don't think they are very busy that they would want to do this as a Be My Eyes volunteer. But if it was me, they know it's their mother, so they'll pick up. Is it alert them that it's a Be My Eyes, or does it just come in will it say, your mother needs you?
I can answer that. So yes, like my wife gets a notification that it's coming from the group name that we named. What'd you call it, Pete?
I called mine the Lane Boys.
Lane Boys. And, so they'll see that. Basically, it's a notification that they would get, and they would double tap on the notification, then they would get connected.
Sree, we probably need to move on.
Okay, great. So the next part of the presentation, we're going to look at the Be My AI feature, which is the second tab. So Julie, if you can go ahead and mute everyone, and we'll get started with the second part.
Yeah, I was just going to also mention you've probably got a really good group here. So I know there's probably lots of questions. We will be extending this meeting a little over the regular 90 minutes. So if you have some questions, we'll
stick around and try to get to all of those. So we may have to end up going extra 15, 20 minutes past the 90 minutes to get it all in.
Before I get started, I just want to say thank you, Pete, for that in-depth overview of the Be My Eyes app. And as Pete mentioned, I will provide examples on how to reach a Be My Eyes sighted volunteer, how to initiate a call with my groups, and then take an in-depth look at both Be My AI and the service directory. I also want to give a heads up regarding my finger gestures. If I don't announce the number of fingers, such as double tap, then I'll be using a one finger tapping twice. So with that said, I will go ahead and get started. And I'll begin by reaching out to a Be My Eyes sighted volunteer. Touch and explore until I hear Get Support tab.
Get Support tab, 1 of 5.
Double tap.
Selected. Get Support tab, 1 of 5.
Either a 4-finger single tap near the top of the screen or touch and explore until I hear Call a Volunteer button.
Call a Volunteer button.
Double tap. And this will connect you to the first available Be My Eyes sighted volunteer.
Call a volunteer. Be My Eyes. Please wait. Please wait. Finding the first available volunteer.
In this example, I'm going to go ahead and stop here because there'll be plenty of other examples where I communicate with a sighted volunteer. But if you need to reach a sighted volunteer, those were the steps. In the next part of my presentation, I'm going to use a feature called My Groups found inside the Get Support tab. And Pete went in detail explaining how to set this up. And inside My Groups, I have my wife and my daughter. And if I make a request, they both will get a notification. And if they're available, then they can accept. And in this example, instead of me reaching out to a volunteer at Be My Eyes, I'm going to connect to my daughter Jasmine using My Groups for assistance. And instead of me using the camera on my iPhone, I'll be using the camera on the Ray-Ban Meta frames. And just keep in mind, you don't have to have the Ray-Ban to use this feature. So let's see how to set this up. First thing I need to do is make sure I'm on the right tab, touch and explore until I hear Get Support tab.
Get Support tab, 1 of 5.
Double tap.
Selected. Get Support tab, 1 of 5.
Swipe right until I hear My Groups button.
My Groups button.
Double tap.
My Group in progress.
Swipe right until I hear Roy Family open button.
Roy Family open button.
Double tap.
Roy Family.
Swipe right until I hear Call Roy Family button.
Call Roy Family button.
Double tap.
Please wait to use Ray-Ban Meta Glass.
First of all, Jasmine, thank you for volunteering your time to do this presentation for the iBUG Cafe. Right now, you're looking through my camera, correct?
Yes.
I'm going to go ahead and switch you over to my Ray-Ban Meta frames. So hold on one second. So initially, I'm connected to the camera on my iPhone. And to switch it over to the Ray-Ban Meta frames on the right arm, press the capture button 2 times after the connection has been established.
Be My Eyes is now using your glasses camera.
Okay, Jasmine, do you see the shirt that I'm holding through my Ray-Ban Meta frames?
It's through your glasses? I don't know if it's the phone or glasses.
Okay, I'm going to move my face.
Okay.
You see me moving?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you see the shirt that's on my table right now?
Yes.
What colors are on the shirt?
There's a few different shades of blue with a white background.
Okay. And is there a pattern or design on the shirt?
Yeah, it looks like it has woven lines with the blue and some little squares in between the woven lines.
Okay, great. And do you think this is an appropriate shirt when I meet Michael and Sandhya?
Yes.
Jasmine, thank you for helping me do this presentation here at the cafe. Love you.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.
To disconnect the call, 2-finger double tap, also known as the magic tap. Now I have the opportunity to give some feedback. Swipe right.
Review your experience. Heading.
Swipe right.
Thanks for your call. Heading.
Swipe right.
Please let us know if you had any problems during this call, be it either technical or personal.
Swipe right.
I experienced problems. Button.
Swipe right.
I had a good call. Button.
Since I had a great experience, double tap.
Starting camera. Be My Eyes. Take picture. Button.
Let's take a look at the second tab inside the Be My Eyes. And for me, this has to be my favorite feature. And some of you may say this is the most popular feature. Inside the Be My Eyes app called Be My AI. So, what is AI? Well, this might depend on who you ask. And that's because one of our facilitators here at iBUG today, Hershey, he thinks AI stands for one of the programs he co-facilitates called Android Insight. Now, don't get me wrong, it could. But in this case, AI stands for Artificial Intelligence. And if you're wondering how AI works inside Be My Eyes, it uses a technology called LLM, or better known as Large Language Model, and uses this technology, and after a picture is taken or imported into Be My AI, these pictures are described in great detail. I do want to bring up a risk, or a better word to use is caution, when it is describing the picture. and that is it may not describe the picture accurately. And when these inaccuracies occur, they call this hallucination. You'll see this in one of my examples. Before I get in depth with my presentation, there are two things I want to go over. First, a very quick look at the buttons on the main screen, and second, different ways that I can take a picture. So let's get started. Every time I open a new session inside the Be My AI tab, there are only two buttons. Let's take a look at what they are.
Be My AI, tab, 2 of 5.
Double tap.
Selected, starting camera.
Swipe right.
Take picture, button.
Double tap, and it takes a picture. Swipe right.
History, button.
I'll talk about the history button a little later on, but these are the two buttons that are on the main screen. Now, before we can use Be My AI to describe a picture, we need to first know how to take a picture, and there are some different ways we can do this. Once I double tap on the Be My Eyes tab, the camera is ready to take a picture. I'll start off by explaining two different finger gestures that I can perform to take a picture. Option 1, 4-finger single tap near the top of the screen lands on Take Picture button.
Take picture, button.
Double tap.
Analyzing picture. Please wait.
Option 2, touch and explore until I hear Take Picture button, and this button is located near the bottom middle of the screen.
Take picture, button.
Double tap.
Analyzing picture. Please wait.
And if you're wondering, is there any other way to take a picture besides performing these two gestures? The answer is yes. I can quickly press and release the volume up button.
Analyzing picture. Please wait.
Or I can quickly press and release the volume down button.
Analyzing picture. Please wait.
So, as you heard, there are a few different ways to take a picture. And if you're wondering, can I take multiple pictures and have these pictures be in the same session? The answer is yes. Don't forget, I can press and release either the volume up or volume down button, or find Take Picture button on the screen and double tap. Let's take a quick look on how to do this. When Be My AI starts describing the picture, I can take the next picture.
Analyzing picture. Please wait. A desk with a black surface and... Analyzing picture. Please wait. A desk with a black... Analyzing picture. Please wait. A desk with...
I do want to make one final comment related to taking a picture, and that is, I prefer to take a picture by press and release the volume up or volume down button, because I find this much more convenient than having to do a touch and explore and find the Take Picture button on the screen and then double tap. And one other thing to remember, even though I took multiple pictures, the last picture taken is the picture Voiceover will speak back. Let's take a look at what happens when I do a 4-finger single tap near the top of the screen.
Clear button.
So the screen layout is a little different when there are multiple pictures in a session, because if this was a new session, 4-finger single tap near the top of the screen lands on Take Picture button. Swipe right provides the description of the picture.
A desk with a black surface.
Swipe right again.
Take picture button.
So if a picture has already been taken in this session, it might be a little easier to do touch and explore until you hear Take Picture button. But if you happen to be one of those individuals who like to be fast and efficient, let's say for example whose initials are SR, then I highly recommend using the volume up or volume down to take a picture. So Sree, if it's so easy to use the volume up or volume down to take a picture, then what is the downside using this? Well, I'm glad you asked. And even if you didn't, guess what? I'm going to tell you why. As the Be My AI is describing the picture, I cannot press either the volume up or volume down to change the volume level. And if I mistakenly press either of those two buttons, well, you guessed it, it'll take a picture. And don't worry, this behavior only occurs while you're inside the Be My AI. And if you're scratching your head, where do I go to turn this feature on or off? During Pete's presentation, he went into settings to turn this feature on or off. Now that I showed you there are different ways that one can take a picture, it is time to take a look at some amazing things that Be My AI can do in action. Touch and explore until I hear the second tab on the home screen called Be My AI.
Be My AI, tab, 2 of 5.
Double tap.
Selected, starting camera.
As soon as I launch Be My AI, the camera is ready to take a picture. In this case, I'm going to take a picture of our dining table by pressing the volume down button.
Analyzing picture. Please wait. A polished black marble table with white veining, reflecting light. 2 high-backed, black leather chairs with tufted designs are positioned behind the table. A cylindrical metallic object, possibly a salt or pepper grinder, is on the table. To the right, a tablet displays a screen with a list of menu options and settings. Behind the chairs, there is a window covered with sheer lace curtains and draped with a decorative beige fabric. A framed artwork hangs on the wall to the right of the window.
This is where the magic of Be My Eyes truly shines. Not only it gave me a great description on the picture that I just took, and if that picture description was not enough, then I can follow up with some additional questions, and if those additional information is still not enough, then with a simple double tap on a button, I can be transferred to a Be My Eyes sighted volunteer. And because of this feature, it has greatly improved the lives of those who are visually impaired or blind. Now that I've taken a picture of my dining table, let's review all the buttons and features that became available. 4-finger single tap near the top of the screen, lands on the clear button.
Clear button.
Double tap and it clears the pictures that I've taken. Swipe right.
A polished black marble table with white veining.
Description of the last picture taken. Swipe right.
Take picture button.
Double tap and it takes a new picture. Swipe right.
Ask more button.
This is where I can ask some additional information. Double tap. 4-finger single tap near the top of the screen.
Close button.
Double tap and it clears everything out. Swipe right.
Keep button.
Double tap and it toggles between keep and unkeep.
Unkeep.
Double tap and it removes the picture from history.
Keep.
Double tap and it saves the picture into history, which I'll talk about a little later on. Swipe right.
Actions button.
I'll come back to this in 1 minute. Swipe right.
Your message, image. Actions available.
Let's take a look at the menu options. Flick up or flick down.
Copy.
Double tap and it copies the image. Flick up.
Activate default.
Swipe right.
Message, text field. Double tap to edit. Be My AI, a polished black marble table with white veining.
Voiceover describes the image. Swipe right.
Call a volunteer button.
Double tap and I can speak to a sighted volunteer at Be My Eyes. Swipe right.
Add picture button.
Double tap if I want to take a new picture. Swipe right.
Message, text field.
This is where I can ask a secondary question. Double tap to bring up the insertion point, and then 2-finger double tap to start or stop the dictation, or I can go to the virtual keyboard, do a touch and explore on dictate, and then do a double tap, or I can do it the old-fashioned way, use the virtual keyboard, and type the message. Swipe right.
Send message, dimmed button.
This is currently dim since there is no request, but if there was a request, double tap would send it to Be My Eyes. Let's go back and take a look at that final button, Actions button. Swipe left until I hear it.
Actions button.
Double tap.
Share button.
Swipe right.
Delete button.
Let's go back and take a look at the Share button. Swipe left.
Share button.
Double tap.
Cancel button.
Let's listen to Be My Eyes explanation. Swipe right.
Share a link to the chat. Heading. Anyone with the link will be able to view your shared chat including pictures. Messages sent or received after sharing your link will not be shared. If you want to delete this link after sharing, please contact us at info@bemize.com.
Swipe right.
Share link button.
And to get out of this section, touch and explore until I hit the Cancel button.
Cancel button.
Double tap.
Close button.
And those are all the buttons and information that is available once the picture is taken. In the next part of my presentation, I'm going to show you the steps that are involved when asking a follow-up question. Swipe right until I hear Message Text Field.
Message text field. Double tap to edit.
Double tap brings up the insertion point.
Message text field is editing. Word mode. Insertion point at start.
2-finger double tap to start my dictation, and I'm going to ask the first follow-up question. Can you describe the decorative picture on the right side of the wall? 2-finger double tap, stop my dictation. Swipe right.
Clear text button.
If I need to re-record my dictation, double tap. Otherwise, swipe right.
Send message button.
If my follow-up question is accurate, double tap and the message is sent to Be My Eyes, and within a few seconds, I'll get a response back.
Please wait. Be My AI is writing a message. Be My AI, the decorative picture on the right side of the wall is a framed artwork. It features a delicate illustration of a person, possibly a woman, dressed in traditional attire. The background includes subtle, natural elements like trees or foliage, giving it an elegant and serene appearance. The colors are soft and muted, complementing the overall decor of the room.
Now that I've provided a step-by-step process how to ask a follow-up question, moving forward, I have taken out my portion of asking the question since VoiceOver will repeat it, and thus you don't have to hear my voice over. Did I say over? I meant to say over and over and over. So let's ask the next follow-up question, and since there's an iPad on the table, let's follow up with that. Touch and explore until I hear the Message text field.
Message, text field, is editing, word mode, insertion point at start. Inserted. Can you tell what apps are on the iPad?
Swipe right.
Send message, button.
Double tap.
Please wait. Be My AI is writing a message. Be My AI. The screen on the iPad displays a list of menu options and settings, but the specific apps are not clearly visible. The text is too small to identify individual apps from this angle.
Since it could not really recognize the image of my iPad on the dining table, so I'll take another picture of my iPad. And this image will be part of the current session. Touch and explore until I hear Add Picture button.
Add Picture button.
Double tap.
Please wait. Please wait. Be My AI is writing a message. Be My AI. The iPad screen displays the Settings app, specifically the General section. The options visible on the screen include About, Software Update, iPad Storage, Apple Care and Warranty, AirDrop, AirPlay and Continuity, Autofill and Passwords. Background App Refresh. The top of the screen provides a brief description. Manage your overall setup and preferences for iPad, such as software updates, device language, AirDrop, and more.
So far in this session, I've taken 2 pictures. One, a picture of our dining room table, and second, a picture of an iPad screen. I can ask follow-up questions on both of these pictures. And now I'm going to switch back to the dining room table with the follow-up question. Touch and explore until I hear the message text field.
Inserted. Can you tell if the lights are turned on or off?
Swipe right until I hear Send Message button.
Send Message button.
Double tap.
Please wait. Be My AI is writing a message. Be My AI. The lights appear to be turned on, as there is a reflection of a light fixture on the polished surface of the black marble table, indicating that the room is illuminated.
Going to follow up with a question about the lights. Touch and explore until I hear the message text field.
Inserted. By the reflection on the marble table, can you tell how many light bulbs are there?
Swipe right until I hear Send Message button.
Send Message button.
Double tap.
Please wait. Be My AI is writing a message. Be My AI. The reflection on the marble table shows what appears to be 3 light bulbs in a circular arrangement, suggesting a light fixture with 3 bulbs.
Let's ask a follow-up question for clarification. Touch and explore until I hear the message text field.
Inserted. Are you sure you only see 3 light bulbs in the reflection?
Swipe right until I hear Send Message button.
Send Message button.
Double tap.
Send. Please wait. Be My AI is writing a message. Be My AI. Upon closer inspection, the reflection on the marble table shows 4 light bulbs in a circular arrangement.
You may recall in the beginning of my part of the presentation, I mentioned I was going to give an example where the AI provided an inaccurate information. And here is that example. And when this type of inaccuracies occurs, this is called hallucination. In my example, this inaccuracy is not critical, but if the information that it describes is very critical, let's say, for example, I took a picture of the iBUG Today logo that is on one of our t-shirts, and Be My AI describes the bug as a turtle instead of a ladybug, well then, Houston, we have a problem. In the next part of my presentation, I'm going to give an example where I'm using the Be My AI to give me a description of the product that I'm holding, and then connect to a sighted volunteer at Be My Eyes to ask a question. So let's see how this works. Once again, the first thing I need to do is take a new picture, touch and explore until I hear Add Picture button.
Add Picture button.
Double tap.
Starting camera, cancel button. Analyzing picture, please wait. A container of Chobani Greek yogurt is sitting on a black surface. The yogurt container is sealed with a foil lid that has an image of a peach on it. The side of the container has nutritional information and ingredients listed. The text on the container mentions that it is protein-rich and provides details about serving size, calories, fat, sodium, sugars, and protein content. The container also includes the Chobani logo and states that it is grade A and kosher.
Let's ask a follow-up question. Touch and explore until I hear Ask More button.
Ask More button.
Double tap.
Message, text field. Inserted. Can you tell me more about this particular brand of yogurt?
Swipe right until I hear Send Message button.
Send Message button.
Double tap.
Please wait. Be My AI is writing a message. Be My AI. Chobani is a well-known brand that specializes in Greek yogurt. It is recognized for its thick and creamy texture, which is a result of the straining process that removes excess whey. Chobani offers a variety of flavors and often emphasizes natural ingredients, avoiding artificial flavors and preservative. The brand also highlights its high protein content, making it a popular choice for those looking to increase their protein intake. Additionally, Chobani is known for its commitment to using non-GMO ingredients and supporting sustainable practices.
This provided a very good high-level view of the product. Now I'll follow up with a very specific question. Touch and explore until I hear the message text field.
Inserted. Can you tell me how many calories per serving?
Swipe right until I hear Send Message button.
Send Message button.
Double tap.
Please wait. Be My AI is writing a message. Be My AI, the container indicates that there are 110 calories per serving.
Okay, I got the calories. Let's check for the expiration date. Touch and explore until I hear the message text field.
Inserted. Can you tell me the expiration date?
Swipe right until I hear send message button.
Send message button.
Double tap.
Please wait. Be My AI is writing a message. Be My AI, the expiration date is not visible in the image. You might want to check other parts of the container or its lid for this information.
I could rotate the yogurt container in hopes that I capture the expiration date, but this process could be much simpler with me contacting a Be My Eyes sighted volunteer. Touch and explore until I hear call a volunteer button.
Call a volunteer button.
Double tap.
Call a alert. Are you sure you want to call a sighted volunteer?
This brings me to a new screen. Let's see what's all in here. Swipe right.
You will leave this chat.
Swipe right.
No button.
Swipe right.
Yes button.
Double tap.
Message. Text. Sree Bayless's AirPods Max button.
Now, the time can vary depending on how long it takes for a sighted volunteer to pick up. In my case, it took about 20 seconds.
Connected.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Pretty good. I am doing a demonstration on the Be My Eyes app. I am holding a yogurt, and if you're able to see expiration date, I'm just going to kind of turn it around and we'll look at the sides and the bottom and top.
Okay, keep going. I don't think that's it. Keep going. Keep going. Could you make the camera go a little bit more up? Like slightly. Right there's perfect. Okay, keep going. I did not see it.
How about we try the bottom?
Don't see nothing on the bottom. Can you try and tilt it to the front so I can see the top of it?
Sure. The top of it. Hold on.
Oh, okay. Turn to your right. Turn it to the right. Yeah. It says April 20, I think 22? April 22nd?
Great. I really
Yeah.
appreciate this. Thank you. And just
Yeah,
out
no
of
problem.
curiosity, how many calls have you taken?
Oh, within like the past year, I think I can count on like maybe a good two and a half, maybe 5, maybe 6. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate all the support that you provide for us. It's greatly
Oh,
appreciated.
no worries. Yeah, I loved it.
Well, you have a fantastic evening then. Thank you.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. 2-finger double tap to disconnect the call and then rate the experience. There is one other button that I want to take a look at. Touch and explore until I hear history button.
History button.
Double tap.
Selected. All button. 1 of 3.
When this is selected, I'll be able to see all my Be My Eye requests. Swipe right.
Cat button. 2 of 3 button.
If kept is selected, I'll be able to see all my saved images. Swipe right.
Shared button. 3 of 3 button.
I covered shared previously, but those information will be found here if selected. Since I currently have all selected, this is where I'll find all the previous requests I've had with Be My AI. Continue to swipe right.
Today. Heading. A hand is holding a container of Chobani Greek yogurt button. Actions available. Monday. Heading. A desk with a black surface. Friday. Heading. A hand holding a box with a partially visible image. March 19th. Heading. A polished black marble table with white veining. Reflecting light. Button. Actions available.
Let's take a look at all the actions available. Either flick up or flick down.
Key. Share. Delete. Activate. Default.
And those are all the different options that are available. In the next part of my presentation, I'm going to take an image, for example, from the Photos app, and then have Be My Eyes describe it. So let's see how this works. The first thing I need to do is open Photos, touch and explore until I hear it.
Photos.
Double tap.
Photos. Library. Button.
Inside the library, I'm going to randomly choose a picture that has Rita, Jasmine, and myself. Touch and explore until I find one.
Photo. Maybe 3 people, including Rita Roy, Sree Roy, and Jasmine Roy.
Double tap.
Close. Button.
Now that a picture has been selected, the next thing I need to do is share this picture. At the bottom of the screen, there are some buttons that became available. Touch and explore until I hear the share button.
Share. Button.
Double tap.
1 photo selected.
Once again, I'm presented with some other buttons near the bottom of the screen. Touch and explore until I hear Describe with Be My Eyes button.
Describe with Be My Eyes button.
Double tap.
Describe with Be My Cancel button. Image. Please wait. Be My AI is writing a message. Be My AI. 3 people standing together in a warmly lit room. On the left is a man with short, dark hair, wearing glasses, a blue long-sleeve shirt, and black pants. In the middle is a young woman with long, dark hair, wearing glasses, a black crop sweater, light blue jeans, and gray shoes. On the right is a woman with long, wavy dark hair, wearing a striped sweater in yellow, gray, and black, along with blue jeans. They are standing in front of the white door, and there is a staircase with a black coat draped over the railing on the right.
Like before, I can ask a follow-up question.
Inserted, can you describe the type of glasses the gentleman is wearing?
Swipe right until I hear Send Message button.
Send message button.
Double tap.
Send. Please wait. Be My AI is writing a message. Be My AI. The gentleman is wearing rectangular glasses with a dark frame. The frames appear to be relatively thin and have a classic, understated design.
And that is how I can select an image and then share it and have it be brought over to Be My Eyes and have it be described. In the final part of my presentation, I'm going to initiate a call using the Ray-Ban Meta frames to reach a sighted volunteer at Be My Eyes. And I'm going to give you two benefits. First, as Pete mentioned in his presentation, I'm going to demonstrate how I can initiate a call without having to touch my phone or my glasses. And second, probably the most important one, is I'll have both of my hands free to perform whatever task that I need to do. So the first thing I need to do is give the wake word, Hey Meta. Call Be My Eyes volunteer.
Calling a volunteer on Be My Eyes. Be My Eyes is now using your glasses camera.
This time, I did not have to switch the camera from my iPhone to the glasses. It did it automatically.
Message. Hi.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing pretty good. Can you see my watch that I'm holding with most of my hands? I just want to set the time. Can you tell me if I'm going clockwise or counterclockwise?
You're going counterclockwise.
Can you help me turn the knob to get to 249?
Go. Turn it the way you were turning it. No, other way. Okay, stop. Okay, now go back the other way a little bit. Keep going, stop. All right, put it in the camera view just a little bit more. Yeah, that's good.
I appreciate your help.
Very good.
I appreciate your help. Thank you so much for your support.
You're welcome. Glad I could help.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So there's some real benefits using the Ray-Ban Meta frames along with a sighted agent from Be My Eyes to accomplish a task much more efficiently, because now you can have both hands doing the task. And that concludes the overview of the second tab, Be My AI. Okay, that concludes the second part of our presentation. Once again, we're going to open it up for some questions. We don't use the raise hand feature. Just state your name and I'll call upon you. So Julie, if you can just go ahead and unmute everyone and just state your name and I'll call upon you. And you can ask any questions about what I covered and what Pete covered.
It's Shazadi. It's not a question. It's just something I've learned over the years with BMI. Because the volunteers are volunteers, so you don't want to share any of your personal information like credit card, personal documents, because all these are not paid volunteers, right? So you have to be careful about the kind of information you want to be available to BMI, right? Just something I wanted to share.
Good point.
Very, very important point. Thank you. Yes, that is very true.
Sharon?
Yeah, go ahead, Sharon.
So I noticed you had your daughter describe the shirt, but you didn't have the AI describe any clothing. And is that because you've had problems with them describing clothing correctly in the past? I was just wondering, because I use it a lot for that.
Yeah. No, I definitely use it to describe my clothing all the time. I just wanted to demonstrate how I was using the group feature, contacting my daughter instead of a sighted volunteer, just taking a picture and describing. But I definitely take a lot of pictures of the clothes and have it describe it to me.
With the AI, and it
That
works fine. Great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Valencia?
Go ahead.
I'll start backwards. I have one for your part of the presentation and then for Pete's. When you were sharing the photo of you and your family, it automatically recognized your names. And I'm just curious how it did that.
That's a great question. And I'm going to encourage you to come and ask that question on our Monday night call, and I will explain it to you.
Okay. And then for the first part, like I said earlier in the introductions, I haven't actually used the app yet, so I would have to start from scratch. For the setup, when you have to provide an email or login or whatever, it said, do you want to use your Google login or something like that? Is there a way you can use like an Apple ID in order to set it up, or do you have to have an established email account and then you have to actually create a password in order to use the app?
This is Pete. I don't think you need to have an Apple ID to do it, but frankly, it's been probably 10 years, I think, since I set mine up, so I don't really remember. Sree, do you remember?
I believe when you first initially set it up, it's going to ask you, do you have an email that you want to use? And then you can generate any password you want. Or You can use Google. I don't recall if it had any other options in there before, but
No.
it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can just use any email. It doesn't have to be an official email.
Yeah.
And you can-
Okay.
Hey, Sree, this is Deepak.
Yeah, Deepak, go ahead.
Can you use the AI feature without the glasses? Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
and can you talk it like you use the talk mode?
So you can definitely use it without the Ray-Ban Meta frames. You can either you can dictate the question or you can type the question. Is that what you're asking?
No, just like how you said, like you just talked to it and you didn't type anything when you were using the glasses.
Correct.
Can I do the same thing just holding the phone without the glasses? Can I say like whatever you said, like give the command?
There are some Siri commands you can use. Pete, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but you can use some Siri commands to have it describe the image to you. But I don't think you can create a continuous conversation with
not
it.
like he did with the glasses.
Yeah.
Okay, that's an advantage to the glasses that the phone by itself doesn't have that.
Yeah, I think the advantage of the glasses, at least for me, is being able to use both of my hands and being able to ask a continuous question to someone who's got sight to assist you.
But can you use the AI feature with the glasses?
Yes.
Okay. Thanks.
Definitely check out our video on the Ray-Ban Meta frames that we did on January. That will give you much more details on what all the Ray-Ban Meta frames can do.
Yeah, just to elaborate real quick, that's available on the website, but also on YouTube. If you go to the iBUG Today YouTube channel, you'll see several product lines. All of the training events represent an individual product line playlist in the YouTube channel. And if you see the iBUG Cafe, just go to the January Cafe. And that was the in-depth presentation that Maria did on the Ray-Ban Meta smart glasses.
Yeah, she did a really thorough job on explaining that.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, I was going to say we probably need to go on to the third section.
Ed, is it really quick?
Well, I just wanted to know, so you say you can use the Be My AI with the Meta glasses? And if you have an issue, like I had an issue the other day where I tried to read a box within directions and it wouldn't read it. So can you manually hit that button and switch it back to the camera that's on your camera to read something because the camera's a little bit better, or
you can toggle it by hitting that capture button 2 times. It'll toggle between the glasses and the phone camera.
Okay, and the other question, I just wanted to know if your camera, if you're in landscape mode on your phone, is it a landscape picture on your glasses? And if you switch it to portrait, does it switch to portrait, or like what is the outlay of the camera in the glasses?
That I do not know.
It's always in portrait.
Yeah, that's my guess.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and open up to the third part of the presentation. This is where I'm going to talk about the service directory. It's the third tab. So go ahead, Julie, mute everyone, and we'll go ahead and get started with the third part.
Go ahead.
Now I'm going to take a look at the third tab inside the Be My Eyes app called Service Directory. So what is Service Directory and what will I find inside there? The definition of Service Directory has evolved from the 1980s, where we used our phone book to look for a company's contact information or dial the operator on our landline phones for assistance. And in 2025, we now use tools such as our internet as well as our favorite assistant, Siri, to help look for a company's contact information. Even though most of my time I'll use the Siri to search for contact information for a particular company, but inside the Be My Eyes service directory, there's one key aspect that I will not get by asking Siri. Be My Eyes has partnered up with some of these organizations inside their service directory. So when I use the app and reach out to one of these companies that they partnered up with, I will receive an agent who has been trained to assist someone who's visually impaired or blind. Be My Eyes defines this as partner profile. And for all the other organizations they currently have not partnered up with, a simple double tap, it will dial that company for you. Be My Eyes defines this as standard profile. So with that said, let's take a deep dive look inside the Be My Eyes service directory. And as Pete mentioned before, all the tabs on the home screen are located at the bottom of the screen. Touch and explore until I hear Service Directory tab.
Service Directory, tab, 3 of 5.
Double tap.
Selected, Service Directory, tab, 3 of 5.
4-finger single tap near the top of the screen lands on the Service Directory heading.
Service Directory, heading.
let's take a look at what's in the screen. 2-finger swipe down.
Info button.
I'll come back to this info button in 1 minute.
Search field.
I'll come back and show you how I can search for a product or a company. And now I'm presented with the different categories.
Assistive technology button.
And inside each of these categories is where I'll find the partner profiles and the standard profiles.
Banking button. Beauty and grooming button. Blindness organizations button. Careers button. Civic engagement button. Food and beverage button. Games and toys button. Home and cleaning button. Hotels button. Online shopping button. Other button. Personal health button. Technical button. Travel and transportation button.
And the last option.
Scan accessible QR code button.
Now let's go back and take a look at the info button. Touch and explore until I hear it.
Info button.
Double tap.
Info. Service directory heading.
Let's take a look at Be My Eyes explanation. 2-finger swipe down.
Welcome to Service Directory heading. Connect with a wide range of companies for support with their products and services, as well as organizations within the blindness community. The service is free, and you can reach out as often as you wish. Partner profiles heading. A partner profile is managed by the organization it belongs to and may offer contact options such as video calls and chat using artificial intelligence. Standard profiles heading.
These are the organizations that Be My Eyes have not partnered up with yet.
A standard profile is added by Be My Eyes. These profiles will have a publicly available phone number as a contact option. Suggest a profile heading.
As a community, we can help expand the service directory.
If there are companies or organizations you'd like to see included in the service directory, please let us know. We'll do our best to bring them on board. Suggest company or organization button.
So if there are companies that are not listed in this service directory, Be My Eyes has a very simple email that we can fill in to suggest adding a new company. Double tap.
Back button. Cancel button.
Let's take a look at the email template. 2-finger swipe down.
New organization suggestion heading. Send button. to ios@bimidis.com. Text field. ios@bimidis.com. Button. cc/bcc. From. Subject. New organization suggestion. Text field. Message body. 3M dash. Please do not delete the details below. Be My i6. 3149 iPhone 16.
Now, I can definitely tell you they do check this email. When they first launched the service directory, they had the toll-free number for Apple Care. And I filled this email requesting that the toll-free number be the Apple Accessibility instead. And not only they updated the toll-free number, but I also received a thank you email for suggesting it. And once all the appropriate fields are filled, touch and explore until you hear the send button and double tap. But since I don't have any information noted inside here, touch and explore until I hear the cancel button.
Cancel button.
Double tap.
Cancel alert. Delete draft button.
Double tap. Let's go back. 4-finger single tap near the top of the screen. Lands on the back button.
Back button.
Double tap.
Service directory heading.
Next, let's take a look at how I can search for a product. Swipe right until I hear search field.
Search field. Double tap to edit.
I'm currently on the search field, but I'm not in the search field. Double tap to bring the insertion point.
Insertion point at end.
And now that I'm in the search field, I can either search for a product or a company, and I can do this by either doing a 2-finger double tap to start and stop the dictation, or I can use the virtual keyboard and type out what I'm looking for. In this case, I'm going to type Tide.
Cap T. I D D E E.
On the virtual keyboard, touch and explore until I hear search.
Search.
Double tap.
Search.
4-finger single tap near the top of the screen. That's on the service directory heading.
Service directory heading.
Let's take a look at what's on the screen. 2-finger swipe down.
Info button. Tide. Search field. Cancel button. Home and cleaning button.
Tide is found inside this category. Double tap.
Tide. Open button.
Double tap. Now before I can reach out to a representative from Tide, I need to go inside this section. 2-finger swipe down.
Back button. Tide. Partner.
Here's another indication about it being a partner with Be My Eyes.
Contact the Tide team for questions related to laundry and detergent. Always open.
This is an indication whether they're open or closed.
Info button.
Let's take a quick look at Procter & Gamble. Double tap.
Info.
Inside here, we'll get a core value from Procter & Gamble. 2-finger swipe down.
Back button. Info. Heading. Procter & Gamble's mission is to create accessible branded products and services that improve the lives of the world's consumers, including consumers with sight loss. We are also actively working to produce recyclable packaging with a low environmental impact.
A pretty good summary of their core value. Let's go back to the previous screen. 4-finger single tap near the top of the screen. That's on the back button.
Back button.
Double tap. Let's see what else is on the screen. 2-finger swipe down.
Supported languages: Arabic, German, English, Spanish, French, Indonesian, Japanese, Portuguese, Chinese. Add to favorites button.
I'll come back in 1 minute to demonstrate how this feature works.
Call Tide button.
And if I'm ready to reach out to a representative from Tide, double tap.
And Be My Eyes, please wait. Finding the first available person at Tide. Sree Bayless's AirPods Max button. And connected.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Very good. How are you?
Pretty good. And my question is, what would you recommend for someone who's visually impaired? What kind of Tide cleaning one should use?
Yeah, well, we like to work with our consumers to ask them what job they need done and what their preferences are. Also understanding what washing machine they have and what type of laundry they're trying to do. Recommend something that's easy to dose. So our Tide Pods or Tide Eva, which are 2 single unit dose, super easy, no measuring, works in a cold wash, good from an energy consumption point of view, whether you have a top loader or a high efficiency machine.
Well, I appreciate your time in answering the call.
Thanks for calling Tide. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And that is how to contact a Be My Eyes partner. And if I want to disconnect the call, a simple 2-finger double tap will disconnect the connection. Now let's go back and take a look at how to add a partner to my favorites. To save some time, I'm already inside Tide. Swipe right or do a touch and explore until I hear Add to Favorites button.
Add to Favorites button.
Double tap.
Remove from favorites.
Let's take a look at the screen again. 4-finger single tap near the top of the screen. That's in the back button.
Back button.
2-finger swipe down.
Tide partner. Contact the Tide team for questions related to laundry and detergent. Always open. Info button. Supported languages: Arabic, German, English, Spanish, French, Indonesian, Japanese, Portuguese, Chinese. Remove from favorites button.
And now that button, Add to Favorites, has been changed to Remove from Favorites button. And if I want to remove it from my favorites, a simple double tap. Now that Tide has been added to my favorites, let's take a look at a simpler way for me to reach out to Tide. To save some time, I am in the main screen of the service directory inside the Be My Eyes app. 2-finger swipe down.
Service directory, heading, info, button, search field, favorites, heading, Tide, open, button.
And there it is, Tide in my favorites. I no longer need to either search or go into a category to find Tide. And that's because I can easily access the information right there in the main screen inside the service directory. Next, let's take a look at a company that is not a partner with Be My Eyes. Be My Eyes defines this as standard profile. I'm going to go ahead and search for Apple. And keep in mind, I previously searched for Tide. So I'll need to cancel out of that.
Tide, search field. Cancel, button.
Double tap.
Cancel, search field. Double tap to edit.
Double tap brings up the insertion point.
Search field is editing, search, word mode, insertion point at start.
Once again, on the virtual keyboard, I'll type Apple.
Cap A, P, L, E.
Touch and explore on the virtual keyboard until I hear search.
Search.
Double tap.
Search.
4-finger single tap near the top of the screen. That's on the service directory heading.
Service directory, heading.
Swipe right until I hear technical button.
Technical, button.
Double tap.
Apple, button.
This took me to Apple, and I did not hear the word close or open, which tells me right away that Apple is not a partner with Be My Eyes. Double tap.
Apple.
Let's take a look at what's on the screen. 2-finger swipe down.
Back button, Apple, report profile, button.
I'll come back to this button in 1 minute.
Add to favorites, button.
Double tap if I want to add Apple to my favorites.
Contact Apple, button.
Double tap, and that will connect me straight to Apple accessibility.
Contact Apple. Call +1 877 204 3930.
Double tap.
Sree's Mac Studio, button.
This is Apple Accessibility.
Dismiss context menu, 5.
With features like Voiceover,
JKL.
switch control, and voice control. General tech support or help with billing or orders, press 1.
Press 1 takes you to Apple Care.
For help with accessibility features, please stay on the line. Calls are recorded for evaluation to train personnel and improve contact center technologies. Please hold for an Apple support advisor. While you wait, you can choose to listen to some music. For modern, popular music, press 1. For classical, 2. For jazz, 3. Or for silence, press 4.
4.
Thank you for contacting Apple Support. My name is Jenny. Can I get your name?
Hi, Jenny. This is Sree Roy. I'm actually doing a recording of Be My Eyes on Apple Accessibility. Can you give us a high-level overview? What does Apple Accessibility provide when someone calls in?
Yeah, of course. So it just depends on the issue or what accessibility feature you're using, but we do have an option to screen share with the customer. With the screen share, we'll be able to view the screen and kind of direct the customer where we need to go to fix the issue.
Great. I really appreciate the time you spent.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. Have a good one.
Thank you. Bye. Now, I'm not sure what I get more excited about, calling Apple Accessibility or getting ready to answer the Monday night halftime trivia. Let's take a look at what is involved if the forwarding number is either incorrect or not working in a standard profile. And to save some time, I'm inside Apple, swipe right until I hear Report Profile button.
Apple. Report Profile button.
Double tap. 4-finger single tap near the top of the screen. That's on the cancel button.
Cancel button.
Once again, we have an email. We can respond back to Be My Eyes. 2-finger swipe down.
Reporting Be My Eyes service directory profile. Apple. Heading. Send button. 2. iOS@bimities.com. Text field. iOS@bimities.com. Button. cc/bcc. From. Subject. Reporting Be My Eyes service directory profile. Apple. Text field. Message body. 3M dash. Please do not delete the details below. Be My Eyes 6. 3. 149 iPhone 16. 2 iOS 18.3.2 app languages.
So if you find this number to be incorrect or it has some issues, double tap on send and then Be My Eyes will review it. The next thing I want to do is remove Tide from my favorites and then add Apple to my favorites. So let's see how this works. I'm currently on the main screen inside Service Directory. Swipe right until I hear Tide in my favorites.
Favorites. Heading. Tide. Open. Button.
Double tap.
Tide.
Swipe right until I hear Remove from my favorites button.
Remove from favorites. Button.
Double tap.
Add to favorites.
That removed Tide from my favorites. And now I'll go ahead and add Apple to my favorites. 4-finger single tap near the top of the screen. That's on the back button.
Back button.
Double tap. Swipe right until I hear the search field.
Search. Search field. Double tap to edit.
Double tap.
Search field is editing. Search. Word mode. Insertion point at start.
This time I'll do a 2-finger double tap to start the dictation. Apple.
Inserted Apple.
And then 2-finger double tap to stop the dictation. Touch and explore on the virtual keyboard until I hear search.
Search.
Double tap.
Search.
Swipe right until I hear technical button.
Technical button.
Double tap.
Apple button.
Swipe right until I hear add to favorites button.
Add to favorites button.
Double tap.
Remove from favorites.
Let's go back into Service Directory. 2-finger swipe down.
Service Directory. Heading. Info. Button. Search. Search field. Favorites. Heading. Apple. Button.
And that is how I removed Tide from my favorites. And then I added Apple to my favorites. And the final thing that I want to cover inside the Service Directory, I went over each of the categories. Now let's take a look at one of them in detail. Swipe right until I hear technical button.
Technical button.
Double tap. Let's take a look at all the different organizations inside here, including those who are partner profile and standard profile. 2-finger swipe down.
Back button. Technical. Heading. Info. Button. AT&T. Button. Adobe. Button. Amazon US. Button. Apple. Button. Be My Eyes. Closed. Button.
Partner profile.
Boost Mobile. Button. Brother Customer Support. Button. Comcast/Xfinity. Button. Computers for the Blind. Button. Dish Network. Button. Data Conversion Laboratory Incorporated. Button. Dell. Button. DirecTV. Button. DocuSign. Incorporated. Button. Epson. Button. Garmin. Button. Google. Closed. Button.
Partner profile.
HP. Button. Hulu Customer Service. Button. IBM. Button. Intuit. Button. LG Electronics. Button. Lenovo. Button. LinkedIn. Closed. Button.
Partner profile.
Microsoft. Closed. Button.
Partner profile.
Netflix. Button. Norton/LifeLock. Button. Philips. Button. QuickBooks. Button. Roku US. Button. Roland. Button. Samsung. Button. SiriusXM. Button. Sony. Closed. Button.
Partner profile.
Spectrum. Button. Spotify. Open. Button.
Partner profile.
Stack Overflow. Button. T-Mobile. Button. U.S. Cellular. Button. Verizon. Button. Yahoo. Button. Zoom. Button.
And that is an in-depth look at the service directory inside the Be My Eyes app. And this concludes our presentation here at the cafe on the Be My Eyes app. And for a quick summary, we talked about how to install the app, take a look at the home screen layout, reviewed all the tabs, and then gave you some examples on the benefits of using the Be My Eyes app. All right, this concludes our presentation. We'll open it up once again for questions. We don't use the raise hand feature. Just state your name and I'll call upon you, and you can ask any questions on the things that Pete and I covered. So Julie, if you can go and unmute everyone.
This is Dan.
Go ahead, Dan.
Okay, I noticed that DirecTV was listed in the service directory. How do you determine whether something is partnered or standard?
Good question. So when I went through that whole list of organizations, you heard some of them say open and closed. Those are the ones that are partner. All the ones that didn't have any of that stuff, that's the standard profile.
Oh, okay. So if it says open or closed, that means it's partnered?
They're part of the profile. Yep.
And if it doesn't say open and closed, it's
just a regular organization that they've got the number in their database to forward to.
Okay, I'll have to look at DirecTV because I'm a DirecTV user. I'll have to look and see. Thank you.
Yeah, what I expect is you'll experience the same thing I experienced with Apple. There'll be a toll-free number that you can double tap to dial the number. Agents that are trained for accessibility.
Yeah, I'm just getting right. Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Holly?
Go ahead.
Hi. Going back to the previous demonstration, when you took the 4 pictures in succession, using the up or the down volume button, I'm a little confused about what happened to the other 3 pictures. Did you get a description of just the last picture that you took? Could you go over that a little bit, please? I'd sure appreciate it.
Yeah. So basically what happens is, when you take a picture, that picture's in the session, but it's not the focus. So when you take the next picture, that picture becomes the focus in that session, but it does keep a log of the other pictures, so you can ask questions back and forth. I don't know if you remember, I went to that history and I swiped down and I went through all the images kind of fast, but I went through each of these dates that had these pictures I took.
Mm-hmm.
That information would be there with all the pictures that you took. Be My Eyes described, it will all be there.
Wow. Now, if I see I did 4 pictures in a row like you did, and I wanted to go back and ask it to please describe picture number 2. Can it do that?
Yep. Just like how I did with the iPad and the picture I took up my table, I went back and forth when I asked the question.
I'll play with that. That's fascinating. Great job. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Valencia.
Go ahead.
I have a feeling you'll probably tell me to come back Monday again, but I'll ask anyway. It's a new gesture for me, but you did a 4-finger single tap at the top of the screen. I'm not sure exactly what that does.
Yeah, so I will quickly explain that because I use it a lot. A 4-finger single tap near the top of the screen lands on the first element on the top left corner below the status bar. And a 4-finger single tap near the bottom of the screen will land on the last element on the bottom right. So it's just a quick way for me to get to the top or to the bottom right.
Ah, okay. Thank you.
This is Sarah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Quick question. I noticed when you called your daughter, you were in the Be My Eyes app, but you said, hold on, and you connected her to your Ray-Ban glasses by simply clicking, you said twice, or I can't remember, but that's another way you can connect in case you don't ask your glasses to call a volunteer. I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah. Yes, correct. So initially when my daughter picked up the groups, she was actually connected to the camera on my iPhone. And pressing the capture button 2 times toggled the camera view from the iPhone to the camera on the Ray-Ban Meta frames.
Okay. So that could have been 2 different things. I could have just been hand holding to call a volunteer. But what I'm asking, if I did that, then could I double tap on my Ray-Ban glasses to let them view it from my glasses versus my phone?
That is exactly what I did.
So I don't necessarily have to tell my glasses, call a volunteer.
No.
Okay. You can do either or is what I'm trying to determine. Okay. Great. I didn't know that.
I didn't initiate the call through the Ray-Ban. I initiated the call through the Be My Eyes. The other example that I did is I initiated the call with the Ray-Ban Meta.
Yeah, because sometimes it gets iffy. So I was just wondering if there was an easier way, and that's when I discovered that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Michael?
Yeah, Michael.
Yeah, I just might clarify that if you want to call somebody in one of your My Groups, then you have to initiate it on the Be My Eyes app on the phone. You cannot initiate it on the glasses.
That is correct.
Yeah.
This is Annie.
Go ahead, Annie.
So I was with a friend yesterday. We were out to eat, and I noticed my friend next to me, when they gave us the menus, he had the menu in the front of him, and he didn't say anything. He was quiet for a while. I already looked at the menu online ahead of time, so I know what I was going to order. But he was just quiet for a while. I didn't hear him say anything, and then I asked him, I said, do you know what you're going to have? He said, yeah, I just read the menu. And I said, how did you do that? And he said, using the AI on Be My Eyes. So what I'm asking, how did he do it while I didn't hear him speak or anything like that?
If I had to guess, he might be Using his
and
Bluetooth?
he did not have his he did have the iPhone with him. He did have his iPhone, but he did not have his Meta glasses with him.
Did he have a Bluetooth on?
He
Did
did
he have any
he did
headphones
have
on?
he did have an air. Oh, he always have his AirPod
Yeah,
in
so
his
he
ear.
heard it through his headphones.
But he did not speak, like he did the picture and all that stuff.
Yeah, as
Like
soon as you take a picture, it will start describing it. You don't have to ask any questions because the initial picture, it'll just automatically start describing it.
Okay. Thank you very much.
The only time you need to do that is if you have follow-up questions. Otherwise, as soon as you take a picture, it'll start the process of describing it.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Quite a long time ago, I was unable to, before I got these instructions, I was unable to contact Apple, with Apple with customers' disabilities on the iPhone. But I found that when I just called them, from my landline, that I have had trouble. No, let me rephrase that. If I use the iPhone to call Apple customers with disabilities, it seems like I get cut off and have to do it over again. So I've been getting accustomed to just calling them from my landline. So I don't know if you might have some feedback on that.
I would say that would be a question you want to ask during our Monday call because there shouldn't have any issues. I do it all the time with my phone and don't run into that problem. Pete, do you have any other thoughts on that?
No, I wouldn't think there'd be any difference. They're still accessible through a landline as well.
Yeah.
So are you saying that you haven't had that experience with calling them on your iPhone?
Correct.
So I don't know what I'm missing.
Yeah, I do it all the time. I do it on a daily basis and I don't have that issue.
Just
so
be sure you have the right number.
No, definitely had the right number.
Yeah.
Just got cut off and I had to start over again. So
yeah, bring that question up on our Monday night. Maybe some others might have had that issue and might have some suggestions for you.
Thank you.
Yeah. And just remember, our Monday night buzz is where you can ask any questions about iDevices, peripherals associated with it. It's a good way to get some information. It's the same Zoom link that you came in today's call.
This is Kathy.
Yeah, Kathy.
You mentioned that there's often hallucinations, and I'm really having trouble questioning whether I want to depend on AI to give me information. One time, for example, on a menu, it read that the salmon was on a bed of greens when it turned out it was on a bed of quinoa. And another time, I had taken a picture and it said there was a bowl of candy and it was a bowl of potpourri.
Mm-hmm.
And and the weirdest one was we were looking out our hotel window to a beach scene and it described it really beautifully, but then it said, and there's a boy walking on the sidewalk whose name might be Alex. And I mean, I think that felt like it was just like some kind of programmer putting a little joke in, and then I think Paul said he got that name again at some other point where they said somebody's described a person and said he might be Alex. So I don't know what that was about.
Yeah.
But are people really relying on AI?
I read an article about 2 weeks ago where it talked about the accuracy, and they said on average it's about 60% correct. So you do have to use this as a tool, like many other tools that we have. And for me, the stuff that I've used it for, it helped me a lot more than it would have not helped me if I didn't have it. So, I do use it with the grain of salt to make sure if I question it, I will re-ask the question. Pete, how about you? What's your thought on it?
Yeah, I'm quite sure how to phrase it, Kathy, but if I'm relying on knowing who that kid is on the sidewalk from your hotel window, I would quickly change my mind. So I would weigh what it's giving me, what I'm asking it for, and how valuable the information is and how critical it would be if it was wrong.
Yeah, I'd agree.
60% accuracy is probably a good rule of thumb.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Any questions?
Could I get the time of the buzz tomorrow? I've never been on.
Yeah, of course. It is at, let's see, I'm in Eastern, so I want to make sure I get it right.
From 7 to 9 Central.
7 to 9 Central, yeah. All our things that we do here at iBUG today, it uses the same Zoom conference, so we make it very easy.
Thank you.
Sree, if I could, I'd like to put in a plug. Back in November, Sree and I presented on the iBUG Cafe a full introduction to voiceover series, a recorded series which included a lot of basic operation of voiceover, including a complete list of gestures, voiceover gestures, and things like that. So again, if you look on the website or over on YouTube and look at the iBUG Today YouTube channel, go to product lines, go to the iBUG Cafe. If you look in the November iBUG Cafe, you'll hear the voiceover tutorial series that Sree and I put together. It's a fairly comprehensive series on getting to know voiceover.
Yeah, thank you, Pete. Yep.
Sree, we probably need to go ahead and start wrapping up.
This is
All right, well,
Mary.
yeah, go ahead.
I know I've used Be My AI for pictures, for describing pictures and things, but does Be My AI also describe live scenes?
It does.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you.
It's Shazadi here.
Yeah.
Excellent presentation. A lot to learn from you guys every time I attend. Just adding on to what you already said, feedback on any application is very useful. I remember when voiceover started back like 10, 50 years ago. Over the years, it's so much better now. Same with the Be My Eye, same with the Seeing AI. When we give them feedback, they improve it. So I would recommend that everybody does get feedback when they get stuck on something, when something is not working. It does help improve all the applications and all of us too in the end.
Absolutely.
Thank you for everything.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. I've sent numerous emails to them and they've always responded back. So this concludes our presentation on the Be My Eyes app. I just want to thank a few people here. Pete, Lane, thank you so much for helping me in today's presentation.
Pleasure.
Can't be done without you, so I really
Always fun.
appreciate it. I want to also thank Julie, who is our Zoom conference manager, who keeps us in check, and obviously Michael and Sandhya for supporting us. So Michael and Sandhya, do you have any final comments before we close for the day?
Yeah, I think Sandhya probably already took off, but yeah, great job, both you guys, Pete and Sree. What an awesome presentation.
And definitely come and check out next month. We'll be doing it on the cafe on a unique app or a product.
Thanks, guys.